Dr. Donna Hicks is an associate at the Weatherhead Center for International Affairs at Harvard University. She has been involved in numerous unofficial diplomatic conflict resolution efforts, including projects in the Middle East, Sri Lanka, Cambodia, Colombia, Cuba, and Northern Ireland. She was a consultant to the BBC, where she co-facilitated a television series, Facing the Truth, with Archbishop Desmond Tutu, which aired in the United Kingdom and on BBC World. She has taught conflict resolution at Harvard, Clark, and Columbia universities, and she conducts training seminars in the Dignity Model, a human-centered approach to rebuilding conflict relationships in the US and abroad. She's the author of the book Dignity, Its Essential Role in Resolving Conflict, published in 2011 by Yale University Press. And she's the founder of www.declaredignity.com. Donna, what is missing in our education of future leaders?
Thank you, Danilo, and I want to thank everyone for coming to this remarkable event that Manuel has so faithfully organized for now 5 years, is it? 5 years? And I'm most grateful to be a part of it, because it's an opportunity for me to talk about the work that I do around indignity outside of my field of international conflict. And the real fact is that it has relevance, this concept of dignity has relevance not only in politics and in the international arena where I typically work, but I've also had several adventures in the corporate world, in healthcare, in education. This seems to have touched a nerve, this concept of dignity. What is it? You know, why do we all yearn to be treated as if we mattered? And I think asking this question that Danilo posed to me, what's missing in our education? I can tell you that when I work with my students, they always inevitably say to me, this is the first time that we have been exposed to anything like this in our education, that things that really matter so deeply to us, you know, our shared and universal desire to be treated with dignity is something, sadly, that hasn't really been explored that much, and it's certainly not been explored outside of the field of academia and philosophy especially. So when you ask me what's missing in education, I can tell you my students come to me and they say to me, Donna, this is really what matters to us. We really care about these deeper human issues. And I would even venture to say, you know, concern about how people feel valued, whether they're being treated as if they're valued, is something that we, all of us, every single day of our lives, think about. Why did this person treat me this way? So I think, Danilo, what we have ignored in the academy is attention paid to this deeper, more you know, inner level of what it means to be a human being. Now, I think about the work of Sir Kenneth Robinson. Some of you may have come across it. He said in his most recent book, Creative Schools, he said, you know, we human beings live in two worlds. We live in the world around us, but we also live in the world inside of us. And what education has done brilliantly is taught students about the world around us. But what is it? What is this inner world of ours? It's so private, it's so deep, it's so present in our lives, yet we know so little about it. And this is what my students say they want to understand. They want to understand what it means to be human. And believe me, it's not just self-knowledge in the sense that they want to understand their individual desires or, you know, where they can. They want to know, what is our shared humanity? What is it that each and every one of us, how are we alike? Not so much how we're different. We've spent 30 years talking about diversity and difference. But we want to know about what are our common shared values, what are our shared yearnings and desires, and dignity is one of them. So, and I also am reminded by Emerson's quote, which I try to keep in my forefront of my mind all the time, which says that what lies behind us and what lies before us are tiny matters compared to what lies within us. And yet, even though these deep, well, you know, let me say emotional aspects of our shared humanity, even though they've not been explored, I mean, Kevin knows, he's a psychiatrist, that, and Richard and everyone here on this panel knows that psychology has been remiss because it wasn't until just very recently in the study of the human mind and the human experience, psychology ignored emotions for decades, decades. And now that neuroscience has shown us and given us so much information about what happens in our brain under, especially under emotionally threatening situations. For example, when our dignity is being threatened, there are predictable ways that human beings react. And if we don't understand those predictable ways, something that's so common to all of us, I mean, this is why we're in so much conflict, I believe, in the world. Because we have failed, our educational system has failed to help people understand and navigate what I call the world within, what Sir Kenneth Robinson calls the world within. And I think he talks about education reform, you know, focusing on the world within. Richard is doing amazing work on the world within with his Making Caring Common project. He'll tell you all about that. But I use his work. I just met him for the first time today. And I use his work all the time when I'm working in the field of education. And I'm also reminded by what my friend Maria Hadjipavelou here from, she's a Greek Cypriot, where she reminded me of what Socrates said. Socrates said, know thyself. But I don't think he was, again, he wasn't talking about our little individual particularistic qualities. He was wanting us to know about the human experience. He was a philosopher asking the big questions. And I think this is where we need to go to. Am I 1 minute? Okay, okay. So, and let me say that it's so exciting that when I do projects in education with the young people around dignity, understanding what it means, how it affects our lives, and how they can use the inner power of their own value and worth as a resource, as a way to, you know, to become resilient, you know, because the world is pretty cruel out there. And if they understand that their dignity is in their hands only, and they are the masters of their fate, as Mandela says, then you wouldn't believe how kids can bounce back. It's the best anti-bullying curriculum, I think, that we can offer our children, having them understand that they are valuable and worthy no matter what. Thank you.